In God of War Ascension, we join Kratos before the events of the original God of War series as he seeks a means to avenge his family and break free from Ares.
I pledged an oath in blood. And now my home. All that I loved is gone. Pain is all I have left.
Hello, Kratos.
God of War is a great series. It's just a good old-fashioned video game fun time. I had a blast with the original series. I played 1, 2, and 3 was one of my favorite PS3 exclusives. Now, for God of War Ascension, I kind of found myself wondering what the purpose of this game was, being a prequel taking place before the original God of War. And I think once you play God of War Ascension, you might be saying to yourself the same thing. That being said, it is God of War, it's still fun as hell, and fans of the series will definitely enjoy it. While I say fans of the series will love God of War Ascension, they will when they're playing it, but the story comes off a bit incoherent. Granted, this is a new team working on the game, and it's a bit of a new spin. Obviously, it's a reboot, but it just doesn't seem to mesh and fit in well with the rest of the vibe, the tone, and just the general arc of the rest of the God of War games. But if you just look at the story as its purpose of existing is to create awesome set pieces and move the action from one bit to the next, then it's competent in that sense. Starting off with the opening of the game, which, like every God of War, starts off with this massive, huge battle, and I think it's one of the most impressive ones the God of War series has seen. The gameplay feels the same, although a little bit more simplified. I'll get into that in a little bit. Everything is smooth. The animations are actually smoother than ever, except for one, the dodge roll. The dodge roll is a really important thing, defensive maneuver in God of War, and I found it, like the animation break when you're dodge rolling, not as smooth as it used to be, and it took some getting used to, and it definitely left me open for attack quite a bit. This is really nitpicky, but I think some of you guys who played the game might understand what I'm talking about. Of course, take it or leave it, QuickTime events are in God of War Ascension. They are a staple of the series, and I enjoy them, and they're really good in this one. But the real big change in God of War Ascension is the scrapping of extra weapons. The whole game is dedicated to your Blades of Chaos, which you get different magical elemental abilities for them, like a freezing blade and stuff like that. It's definitely a means of simplification, and it meant well, but I just did not enjoy it as much as I did, say, whipping out Artemis' sword mid-combo and doing stuff like that in the previous games. You are able to pick up environmental objects and weapons with the tap of a button, like a spear, and use that. So that was a nice addition. It worked pretty smoothly, and I enjoyed doing that quite a bit. The game also looks great, as you can expect from a God of War series. The level design is still intact, and I actually found some level design a bit better than the original series. God of War is always about the scope and the scale and everything like that, and it definitely delivers, especially the final battle of the game. It was probably one of the best conclusion, awesome, epic boss battles I've played in the God of War series. Maybe not the best, but it was incredibly impressive, and it was definitely a decent end to the game without spoiling anything. I don't want to spoil anything. But like I said, the story does leave quite a bit to be desired, especially if you're a big fan of the series and you're into more than just the action. I left, the Harpies were not really that engaging of an enemy, and I wasn't really into the crux of it. That being said, besides the story, there is a ton of things for the God of War fans to enjoy. Most notably, the big surprise, multiplayer. I was very surprised to see that I enjoyed the God of War multiplayer, considering how skeptic I was of its purpose in the franchise, like this entire game. God of War Ascension has co-op and 8-player multiplayer battles with customizable characters that you pick their essential abilities based on what god they pray to. In the beginning, you're treated to an awkward opening introduction where you cross paths with Kratos fighting a monster, and then you're tasked with choosing which god you pray to, and that basically aligns your character. It's kind of cool. Obviously, the multiplayer is very simple, but it does feel very God of War, despite not having Kratos in it. It feels very God of War, it plays like God of War, and it is a ton of fun to play God of War with your friends. I have to admit, I had a blast. Sure, I don't think it's going to be for everyone. It's very brutal, and it's very quick, and it's kind of just like, what's going on when you're playing sometimes? But I definitely think fans of the series will have a blast with it. So that's God of War Ascension. Like I said, it leaves a lot to be desired and doesn't totally fill the void of a God of War fan's heart, But if you are a fan, I think it's worthy of your time checking it out. If you're a casual fan of the series, I say, go back and play the other ones. Make sure you play all those first. So let me know what you guys think of God of War Ascension. What was your favorite boss battle without spoiling anything? And are you playing the multiplayer? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Let me know anything you want about the game, and that's going to be pretty much it.
You will return.